conclusion of that report. And after reading it and being involved in a bunch of conference calls, I asked Institute of Water Resources that they would meet with me and members of my board, and they agreed to. And all I can tell you is I don't remember studying that hard. I'll say since college, but truth is probably never. I went through and I had boxes and books and gone through and caught up on the history and was really prepared for kind of an argument on why the Mississippi River should have been included. And the members of that team walked in and basically said, Mr. Duffy, we agree with you. We think you're right. And I was kind of like just in shock. So they're like, what would you like us to do? So my response was, we would like you to offer a memorandum to the report and state that you should have included the importance of deepening the Mississippi River to the importance for the country. And they did so. You can still find that memorandum. So after that meeting, I met with my board and said, guys, I think we should really look at focusing on 50 feet. Remember, our authorization is 55 feet. And there was an agreement on my board for different reasons to do that. One of them is you may not be able to take a vessel 55 feet deep through Southwest Pass without widening it. So 50 feet became the target. It was figure out what we need to get to 50 feet. So I mentioned the first thing already, that was that 45-foot threshold. That threshold had to be changed or we were never going to go forward. Water Bill 2014 changed that threshold, made it 50 feet. That really opened the door for this project that had been kind of on hold since 1986. The next thing we had to do is reevaluate the economics. I graduated high school in 1981. That's when the Chiefs report was done to deepen the river to 55 feet. The Corps said we have to update the economics. Of course, a lot's happened since 1981. And in order to do that, we met with the Louisiana Department of Transportation, met with the Corps of Engineers. We went through and basically we had to make sure the state of Louisiana had the funding to contribute their 50-50 for that study. And I remember very happily getting a call in Washington saying, Sean, you may be the only thing that gets funded today. And I said, that sounds like a great thing to me. And needless to say, that report did get funded. There's a draft report out now. So number 2 is to get that report done. We have a draft report. And then the third thing is to get the funding and to deepen the river. The Big River Coalition partnered with Louisiana Department of Transportation in 2011 or 12 and did a report, had a report done to show the reasons to deepen the river, to look for the economic justification before the Corps of Engineers report to try to kickstart things. We were aggressive in that we thought the river would be deepened by 2017. Well, I was wrong. We were wrong. But I do believe that those increased tonnages will come out to eventually be very huge to us, and I'll explain why. But this same study also predicted about almost 17,000 new jobs created by deepening the river to 50 feet. I mentioned to a couple of friends before this that this is my first presentation on this subject matter, and that some of my information is old. This is one of the old signs. So if you're really up on ocean transportation rates, you can probably find some errors in these numbers. But what's important is to look at the transportation cost savings of barge traffic on the Mississippi River, which I think everybody in the room probably understands very well. It's often been said that the waterborne commerce keeps the American farmer competitive in world markets. This is another old sheet, and I'll say that everything's still accurate except probably the cargo value. And I'll tell you why we have 45 feet, because that's the authorization that we still operate in. Because of the river being naturally deep, other than 3 places of that 260 miles of channel, the pilots often move vessels at 47 feet, up to mile 180, which remember Southwest Pass is 22 miles, so a little over 200 miles of channel, we can go to 47 feet. We couldn't do that last year. When we talked about draft restrictions being down to 41 feet, that was 6 feet for our normal operations. The values I'll work to update, but, and again, this is to show the old Panama Canal draft 39 feet 6 versus the the new depths. Right now, we can move 47 feet up to mile 180. Again, last year we couldn't do that. This is from the report. It's called a General Reevaluation Report. And the draft is out. Of the draft, they have a tentatively selected plan, which is to deepen the Mississippi River to 50 feet to mile 168.5 above head of passes. So remember, have to add Southwest Pass. So right around 190 miles. To deepen 190 miles of river, the cost is a little under $100 million. Another change that was made in a word bill in 2016 was that cost share used to be 50-50. It's now 75 federal and 25% state. So right around, if you want to use even numbers, about $75 million from the federal government, $25 million from the state of Louisiana Department of Transportation. I don't know exactly what the budget of the state of Missouri is like, but I will tell you Louisiana has a lot of budget problems, and we are trying to get those in check. The governor originally thought this project was going to cost him $300 million. He was a little relieved when we told him it was down to $25 million, but he still didn't have the $25 million to throw in a check or anything for us. But we're working on it. And of course, we have some time. So this is a little more details. Now, the Deepening report, the General Reevaluation Report, is available online. I'd be happy to help and point you in the right direction. The comment period is closed. We filed comments. That draft report predicted a benefit cost ratio of 5.47. The report that I referenced earlier by Dr. Ryan was almost 90-1. And some of that's probably a little aggressive, but I also remember General DeLuca, a good friend who retired from the Corps a few years ago, and his nice way of saying how the Corps looked at economics is you're driving down the highway. You can see what's in front of you and what's behind you, but you don't know what's around the bend or what's coming. And prospective increases in trade are not included in those economics. But what's important is that 5.47 makes it a project that's awarded. So this is part of what started me speaking to Dennis and saying, I really want to start working up the basin. I'll tell you, I view this as the nation's river. This isn't Louisiana's river. Although we got some Louisiana problems with the river, this is your river too. And we will very much need the support of the basin delegation and the industries across the basin. This is going to be a very big effort. It's going to take a lot. There's still a lot of hurdles to come up. But the director's report, if that holds true, we have about a year to start working on this. So you're kind of the guinea pigs, and I apologize because I'd like to have a little more time and be able to get it, but the main thing I want to do is give you the information, kind of brush through a lot of it, and I will tell you, and I say it all the time, I'd be happy to talk about it offline afterwards, speak again. I will work with Mary. I would very much like to work through the associations to, when we do have a draft letter of support, offer as many companies, not only the help with signing on to the letters, but also help with your delegation members. If that holds for the director's report, as I said, we have about a year. Now, when the timeline may change to having that letter being prepared is probably in October, if that holds, because if we hit that milestone, you'll go from a tentatively selected plan to the plan. And when we get to the plan, we will really start to reach out to everyone. I got fat fingers, so pardon. Okay, so some of the talking points that I use a lot to justify the river deepening come back to agricultural products. Of course,